Okay, I am just doing some sketching here. This is a sketch of Nor, Ethereal of the Merging Stars. And this is going to be Core, Ethereal of Chaos. And really what I'm doing here, and I'm just realizing the core is a little too big here. So unfortunately, I have to erase him. And when you're drawing traditionally, that kind of sucks. Because I can't just shrink them. I can't just, scale them down. I mean, it's worth exploring, I guess, if you're digital, but in this instance, I actually have to redraw the character, and I'm actually going to draw him smaller than what I had originally drawn here in the sketch here. So we're just going to kind of set up his trunk, and this is kind of like the just like another angle from the ending of the Dream Awakens in the epilogue, which has us revisiting the Ethereals in a way, because they kind of disappear about halfway or maybe 2/3 of the way through the story, as the story shifted gears. And if you've read the series, which is free to read on my website, by the way, you can even download a couple of free PDFs of the first four issues of that series. And they basically, I took them out of the story to focus on other elements that are going to help set up the Sky Dreamers. So really, this sketch is just for fun. I haven't drawn in a bit. I've just been busy with work and stuff, but I just kind of had a feeling that I just wanted to get back into the saddle, but just do that kind of with a sketch that's just kind of revisiting that final scene of the epilogue. And this really is just one of my favorite things to do is the inking part of when I draw my comics. And so, as you can see here, this is very minimal pencil work. It's just, there's not really a whole lot of detail here. So all I'm going to do is just kind of go right to town with drawing and inking this, and we'll see how it turns out. So work through this here. A lot of times what I like to do is just kind of really, even though the structure's here, I have to visualize in my head like what parts of the body, like the musculature, I want to focus on, and then later on come in with some shadow, of course, that will come into the process here in just a bit. And this character Nor really just came out, I should say appeared at the very end of this epilogue scene, which Nor's going to have a greater role in the Dream Awakens series, which is the follow-up to my Dream Awakens story arc, which is the initial story arc for my own creator-owned series, the Realm Etheral. So I'm just basically kind of getting some drawing, getting back into this drawing portion of the inking portion, of the comic book here. So here comes our trusty shadows. Shadows help define the form. And of course, Core's got dark hair. So we'll just kind of dab in some dark there, some black ink, some solid areas here. All right, so there's Core. Quick little sketch from Core to Nor. So here's Nor, or Ethereal, and this is probably the second time I've really sketched him in the context of the comic book series. Those of you may know, this series started out as a series of paintings, digital paintings, because I wanted to explore getting into doing some digital painting. And it was initially with the iPad. I've talked about this before, but having eventually moved over to Photoshop and getting into using a Wacom tablet, which was fun for a while. But my true calling was to do comics ultimately, and so that's how that ship got turned around. Instead of going in that direction, went for doing comic books, because that's again kind of like how I started getting into artwork. And then the painting thing has always been the desire to just do really, pretty paintings. While developing an IP of some sort. So now, Nor here is one of the Ethereals, but what I've come to learn and know is that even within the realm of the Ethereals and the Ethereals themselves, there are actually different classes of Ethereals within that the character sets here of the actual Ethereals themselves. Because remember, we have the Ethereal Guards, Ethereal Guard, who are in a way created or transformed by Ethereals to become kind of sort of like their eyes and ears in a way, which I'm going to I will write about more in the Sky Dreamers. Now that I've had like a whole 5 or however many years it was, slightly more than 5, as I was creating and illustrating and drawing the Dream Awakens through my Realm Ethereal of the Realm Etheral Universe, to really kind of figure out and kind of reveal more about the overall characters and the different subsets. So you have, again, getting back to the different characters, you have the Ethereals themselves, you have Ethereal Guards, and then of course the Metaterrans, which is what Casia is. She's a Metaterran. And if you're just discovering this stuff here, my world here, you can always go to my website and look at or read the first story arc, the Dream Awakens, that really begins all of this here. And that process of writing and drawing and illustrating all that was learning about the main character for sure, Casia, but then also kind of starting to play around with concept and ideas as I was crafting the artwork and story and writing it and putting it together and uploading the artwork to the website and posting different pieces of artwork online and all that cool stuff. But the story itself has, for me, taken shape over the course of like the last 5 or 6 years of working on this project of mine. And it's always fun when I can sit down, sketch, draw, just do. And I mentioned before, inking is like my favorite part. Even when I sketch, I prefer to sketch with ink. There's just something so finite about it, I guess. The ink line goes down and you see it, or in this case, I'm trying to employ a little bit of dry brush, which is doable with this, the Kuretake pen brush. This has got an ink cartridge inside of it. I always love working on this. If I had really had space here in my room, my studio, I would definitely be setting up with the Windsor Newton Series 7 brush, which is a great brush. I definitely recommend using that brush, but I myself haven't used it just simply because it takes more time to set it up. It doesn't take more time, but when you're drawing, and you can only, my day is kind of, working from home and not doing art, this is not my full-time job. I have to be mindful of, like, whenever I set up the inking space and then have the inkwell and the water and the brushes and the rags, and if I were to get a disruption of some sort, then I would have to, like, if I'm disrupted, how long am I disrupted for? And then I'd have to put the brush away, and I don't want the brush to become damaged because I'm not taking care of it, because you like to clean the brushes after you're done. And just make sure that those brushes are in good shape so that they last. So this brush pen here that I use, this Kuretake brush pen, is ideal in the fact that I can just, when I'm not using it, I can just cap it, put the cap on it. And so that's always the advantage of using pens, and that's what I do now. I've got quills as well, which definitely, when I have the time, again, excluding the setup and the preserving of those tools, it's always fun to use them, but at the same time, it's super convenient using this brush pen as well. So this sketch here of this character, Nor, who is one of our, he's essentially going to be one of the more, grander ethereal. In some ways, he even kind of supersedes Core here. So in the first series, you had basically who are the main four Ethereals, who's Ohm, the Ethereal of Vibration, Core, Ethereal of Chaos, and then you have Oda, the Ethereal of Light, and then you have Ina, the Ethereal of Order. So those four are like the main four, but then I'm going to reveal that there are actually there's a larger, grander order of Ethereals compared to those four that I just mentioned, and Core here is one of them. Core is one of these characters that I developed and concepted him much later as I got really into painting and digital painting, and kind of convincing myself that I was more of a digital fantasy artist, but that again never really was where my heart is at. So he came later in the process, but what's interesting is that he had a certain look that, as far as his color scheme, when I painted him, he's kind of pinkish, and when you see a picture of him, and maybe I should really edit that into this video here that I'm making, you'll kind of see where when you see him, he really is kind of reddish pinkish. And then when you look at the series, as I was drawing the series, there is this kind of, it's hard to describe what it is, because it's really just almost, from when I first drew it, it drew this texture. It was just a random background thing, but really, as the series took shape, that background shape, which is again texture, which has been around since the first issue, I wove it into transforming it into essentially Nor here, this character, the Ethereal of the merging stars. So that's where being able, for me to be flexible with how I approach my work here, I'm able to essentially, again, craft on the fly, and to a certain degree, making the story up as I go along. I'm not going to tell you I have this all totally planned and figured out, but I do have the underpinnings of the essential story. But as to how things unfold or how things play out, it really is dependent on like what I'm drawing and like how I see things shifting as I'm working on this structure. And again, I get to do that just because this is my own series. I'm literally the only one who works on this thing. It's the only thing I'm working on for comics, and I don't really do fan art anymore. Did a bunch of it. I'm a big Marvel DC fan, but the truth is, I enjoy the movies, but I haven't really followed any of the newer stuff. And to be quite honest, there's so much old comics I have that I really enjoy looking back at. And when I say old, I'm talking some Silver Age, definitely Bronze Age comics. For those of you who may not know what that reference is, I'm sure you can Google it. But your Silver Ages are like your 60s comics, And I think still going into the 70s, but then we also get into the Bronze Age, which is going to bring us probably late 70s, 80s. And I'm a kid of the 80s, so I mean, you can see where this is going. Like, to me, seeing those 80s comics really is what inspired me. And I have to say, some of the newer stuff I really haven't, with some exception, I haven't really followed. Whether those companies have, I don't want to say they've lost me, but you know, it's weird. But like, before I make this statement, it's kind of like, do I really want to say this? It's kind of like, I think I've kind of seen it all. And to a certain point, like, I just like looking at older comic books at this point. Now I do have a Marvel and DC subscription to their comic book digital platform, and I'll check out some new stuff from time to time. And it's not like I haven't bought, and I've stopped buying comics in general. I mean, although, well, I kind of have, but again, with the app, I can kind of check in and see what things look like. So from this point forward, I'm just going to be focusing on my own stuff here. And actually, I have been for the last 5, 6, 7 years, actually, I think, working on this series. And I guess when you're someone like me that really never broke in, you still want to create your own comics, like, at the end of the day, for someone like me, that's what it comes down to. And, you know, as the Super Bowl just ended, and the Seahawks just won, I'm just here on a Sunday evening, just looking forward to getting back to doing some more inking on this series, and just really just taking this time right now to just kind of sketch and kind of get my head wrapped around my comic book series again. And in particular, I wanted to get back to this just because one of the things I like to do sometimes is just like when I'll sketch about certain parts of the story that I will need to revisit. I'll just do a sketch just to kind of get me back into just kind of getting it out of my subconscious and kind of materializing it in front of me, because eventually there's going to be a huge, big old, hey, spoiler here, big old battle between these Ethereals within their own ranks. And so it'll just be, I'm hoping it'll be pretty cool. And so this just kind of, you know, it's what I'm going to do on a Sunday night when I'm kind of planning my week between work, you know, the actual day job work projects I got to do, and my own comic book series, which I don't want to forget. So this was just a quick sketch and just me really rambling on as I do stuff to keep my art hands and my art tools working and in good condition. That's it for this quick little video here, although not quite so quick. About 18 minutes, probably 19 minutes by the time we kind of wrap this up here. Anyway, thanks for watching. Always got more stuff on the way.